Hello everyone, this is Jonah the Orange, and today we're going to be discussing who is the alpha in Arena. Will it be Boudica, or will it be Arminius? One or the other. I'll tell you right now, it's not Versi. He's fun and all, but he's not really a War Dog commander, in my opinion. I honestly think he needs some movement abilities to get around the battlefield a bit quicker, and Versi does not have that available to him, while Boudica and Arminius do. As you can see on the other team, they do have some slingers, javelins, and spears, all things I can kill, especially since it's not Leo spears. But there are 4 players up there, so I need to wait for my allies to at least get close to them before I start going in. The allied Roman infantry is heading down that road there. Hopefully we can just surround the enemy, just get them locked in there, and then, you know, we fucking win. So that is the plan for this game. And one thing you have to remember about Boudica, she does well in team fights, especially when your team is clumped up, because of her buff ability, Rebellion. The major problem is, Rebellion is not that great. At the lower tiers, it does get much stronger once you start hitting tier 8, 9, and 10. Especially once you get the movement buff on them. It's a 10% movement buff, and that allows you to catch the ranged units a lot easier. It's still important to use it at the lower tiers. It's just not going to be something that impresses you that much. It's nothing like Vengeance or Ad Portis or anything like that. It gives you a bit of a buff. So my War Dogs have gone in there, and they're getting attached to those javelins. They won't come off them unless I withdraw my units. Once they start humping something, they just won't stop. In other words, so if they start attacking the ranged units, and then some spears move in the way, they will try to move through the spears and keep attacking the ranged units. As you can see there, they ran through the spears to get to the slingers. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. Sometimes it can cost you a lot of War Dogs, other times it's worth that cost to kill the ranged units. Also, that was fluke fucking chance. I was explaining it and it was happening on the screen at the same time. What the fuck's the chances of that? But let's move on to one of Boudica's other abilities, and that is Fury, which is a charge ability. The greatest thing about it is that it does add missile block to your units. You might think, that's kind of shit. It sounds shit on paper, but you have to remember the charge does last up to 5 seconds. I believe it's 4 seconds at tier 5. And barrage lasts about the same amount of time. So when you are getting hailed on by those archers, you can press that charge ability, and it will last the same amount of time as their ability. Of course, once in a while you will use it to actually charge other units like this. It does a decent amount of damage. But for the most part, I use it to dodge ranged units. Basically, dodge their fire, or even just close the gap with javelins, so you don't just get blasted on your way in. It looks like we do have the enemy surrounded here. They're not going to last long, especially with that Barbarian morale damage, which is the highest in the game. So that is one thing to keep in mind, is that you always want to surround the enemies when you are playing any Barbarian unit, and dogs are no exception to that rule. If anything, they are the best at surrounding the enemy, but just remember, the dogs themselves do no morale damage. It all comes from the trainers, so you will have to put the trainers in there. Never just send your dogs in unless it's against ranged units, in my opinion. You can try just sending your dogs in if you want. You'll probably fucking lose, but you can do it. As for who you want to team up with when you are playing War Dogs, I always find Pikes are the greatest option. You just can't beat that combo. The enemy basically has to run away from the Pikes, and if they do start running away, the War Dogs will chew them a new one. The other option is they can start fighting your war dogs, and that lets the pikes catch back up and put their big ass sticks down, and they don't do any FF to your unit. All in all, they do well with pretty much every unit in the game. I do find it hard though to team up with range players. The biggest problem is when you do try to save them, you usually take 1 or 2 volleys, and 1 or 2 volleys to the pumps is GG. Especially when it is right in the back. So, they're not the best at protecting the range. On a side note, remember to spam the shit out of that slam ability. It's really good. The cooldown's very short. They just buffed it, basically. The cooldown's so short, you can spam the shit out of it. And it does a fair chunk of damage. It actually makes their handlers a pretty good melee unit. They can go in there and wreck face because of those slams. That is basically the end of this game, so we're just going to go a bit off subject here while we wait for the game to end. I had a pretty big, well, long stream on Twitch last night. I've got to say, it was fun as hell. It went a bit too early in the morning. So early in the morning, no one else was on, so I had to do the old solo queue. And I've got to say, I miss the solo queue. You can play whatever you want, so I'm just chucking in random shit. We had Arminius with 1 War Dog, 1 Felksman, and 1 Cav. I fucking love that combo now. I thought it was going to be really bad. Turns out, great combo. I finally unlocked the Carfish Cav and had my first few games on them. Didn't do horribly. Didn't do good either. It was fun to play. I probably won't ever play Carfish Cav again. No, I'll play him again, but god damn. Fuck, they're a rough unit to play, I'll tell you that. If someone requests me to play them on stream, I will do it. And that's what I found the most fun, was just saying, oi, what unit should I play? And then I'd have to play shit I don't exactly do well with. And then I learn new combos. I go, oh well, this is actually not that bad. For example, I thought Hannibal swords still weren't that great. Then I did 2 Hannibal swords and 1 elephant. Turns out, pretty fucking good. So I think I'll do more streams like that, where you guys just tell me what to play. I'll just chuck in some random shit. Hope it works. And then I might come out with a new combo I'll play all the time. Like Arminius with 3 different fucking units. But that's enough about talking about the streams. Let's talk about the tournaments that are coming up. The first one is going to be EU and CIS. I just call them the USSR, but you know. But after that, there will be a NA Asia one. So that should be a bit of fun. I've just got to get, well, more team fights in, I guess. I have to actually queue up with other people and shit. It's very hard to actually practice on the Asian servers because there's not that many clans. So if anyone does have an Asian clan out there, wants to have some pre-made games against each other, yeah, hit us up. With that said, let's move on to the next game. This time we are playing Arminius. And this one, I just go Rambo, pretty much. So of course, since we are solo queuing, I'm going for that flag. I just want to find out what is on the other side of the map, as well as getting spotting points. Why not? At this tier, with Infiltrate and Momentum, he is definitely quicker than Boudica by a mile, which allows you to pull off a few things. You can chase down the ranged units, you can dodge around some of the melee units they do have on the battlefield. The biggest letdown is you do not have a charge ability at all. At least not on the trainers. The War Dogs will still do their impact damage, but with the trainers, you just try to surround the enemy as quickly as possible and rout them. It's always important to pop that frenzy once you do have them surrounded. That way you can kill them quick enough before their allies can arrive. And unlike the other game, we will not be versing that too many tier 5s and 6s. This time around it's tier 4s and tier 5s, which is one of the slight advantages when you do solo queue. There's more chance of you facing the lower tiers than the higher tiers. At least in my experience, that's how I've found it. And it's definitely not always the case, it's just more of a likelihood. Now, I do let my War Dogs fight these Roman heavies in the forest. Mainly because they are tier 4, they don't have Vengeance. and they are fighting in the terrain where they get debuffed. But my main focus in the game is to kill the catapults. I want them out of the way so my team can advance safely. That's why I sent the other war dog unit over there to blob down those spears. That way, hopefully I can get to these ranged units, get them off the battlefield. Unfortunately, there is swords coming in now, and the spears have separated. When you are playing Arminius though, and you have that slam ability as well as a frenzy, you can fight pretty damn well, especially against someone who's a lower tier than you. Not only that, my allies are moving up, so I get a bit of a helping hand from him. Meanwhile, their catapults are definitely dead, so at least they're out of the way. This game could definitely have been played better, but, you know, the catapults are dead, bro. And that's the main aim of the game, just kill them. And then everything else is the second option. By the way, guys, as far as consumables go, I usually just use one of the passive ones, usually Spar, because the ones that do have a an uptime, such as the biscuits and that fucking dirt pouch, they're not up long enough to be that useful, in my opinion. If your plan in the game is to only win one fight, they might be worthwhile, but if you want to be useful the whole damn time, you're better off just going one of the passives. In fact, the only time I go consumable that isn't a passive is on something Greek, like the pikes or spears, when you want that wine ability, or jabs, scorpions, and catapults, where you want either caltraps, stakes, or some ammo to blow shit up. Outside of that, it's passives all the way. Not only is it one less button to click, it's actually usually better for the unit, so it seems kind of pointless taking anything else, in my opinion. While we clear up these last few infantry units, let's talk about what the video is meant to be about. Which commander do I think is better out of Boudica and Arminius? At this tier, I would definitely say Arminius, but I can see why people would change over at tier 8, 9, and 10 once Rebellion actually gets good. So if we do see War Dogs in any of the upcoming tournaments, which is at, what, with tier 10 commanders with tier 8 units or some shit, Boudica's probably going to be the one we see, if we do even see any War Dogs. Once the ranked mode comes out, which is at tier 5, I think Arminius will be the way to go. And I'm probably not the only one confused about the upcoming tournament rules. It says you need a tier 10 commander, but then you can only use units up to tier 8. With the commander cap, why the fuck would you need a tier 9 and tier 10 commander when the units are tier 8? It says units up to tier 8, so I'm guessing from 1 to 8, not 8 to 10. So I'm guessing these rules are a bit old. They were copy and pasted from some other tournament and have not been updated. Also, the prelims will be fought on Hadrian's Wall. I fucking hate that map. Hopefully it's different for Asia and NA, because that map's a piece of shit. I'm just gonna say it. But I guess everyone has their favourite maps. I actually like the looks of round 16, which has Salernum, Capitoline Hill, and Passage of Augustus. That's just because I love those fucking maps more than some of the others. And the finals looks good too. It's got Germania, Capitoline Hill, Thermopylae, Passage of Augustus, and Salernum. Pretty much just keep Hadrian's Wall and Tittyberg Forest away from me. I'm not a fan of them. When I do play this map, that's why I rush across. It just ends up so campy, unless someone just goes balls deep and kills their siege equipment. And that's why, yeah, when I play this map, I'm fucking belting across to the other side to kill as much range as I can. And then when I'm dead, I can leave and go find a good map. So what happened there, I sent one of my war dogs into those pikes just to put them in combat. That way he could not put his sticks down, and then I put my war dog trainers in there just to finish them up. Of course, they did send the other pike unit in, so I'm running around the back to try to get the recharge into them. With all my allies being on the other side, we should be able to surround them pretty damn easy. Here we go now, we're going into combat. They have to lift their pikes or just die from the rear. Anyway guys, that's pretty much the end of this video. It did bug out. I'll show the actual score at the end of the game, but I kept recording it and it wouldn't show the real score. Actually, I won't even fucking worry about it. It's close enough. I'm just going to say that I did have a lot more trainers in reality than this bullshit. You can always head over to my Twitch channel. It's the first game under Solo Dogs. And there you go. You can see the real score in the real game. It actually did go a lot longer than this. I'm not sure why it decided to mess up. But, you know, what can you do? And hopefully the next video I make, I won't be hungover as fuck. So, I'll see you next time. Peace.